Hey, it's the hottest part of the year, and guess what? We got the hottest burning questions. 2025 is right there, and Daniel and I ask each other the most pressing questions. Will we actually succeed next? Locked on Bulldogs.
You are Locked on Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. He, of course, is Clint. I am Daniel. Today's episode brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money, monarchmoney.com. We'll talk about them more in a second. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being an everydayer, for listening to this podcast every day, for being a first listener, for making this your very first listen of the day. And thanks, of course, for staying all the way to the end, being a loyal third segment listener. Part of the 199. We are, of course, the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, recently audited, got it down to a science. My man Clint is just churning out episodes left and right. I thought I would just step in and see if I couldn't mess things up today. So here we are together again, and we're talking about the biggest questions on our minds right now of the offseason. By the way,
yes,
if you're a listener to this show, before we get into our questions, I'll ask Clint one, he'll ask me one, I'll ask him one again in the third segment. If you are a listener of this show or a viewer on YouTube, first of all, thank you. And second of all, if you've got burning questions in the offseason, things that are keeping you up at night, things that you want answers to, the best way that you can get that stuff to us is you can reach out to us on X at Dawgs Podcast. You can send us an email, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com. And we would love to answer those questions. We can include them in a segment on a future episode. We're going to do a lot of these in the off season. And so, Clint, I'm going to start with my first burning question of the off season. And it is this.
Okay.
Is it better in the long term for Kirby Smart, who we know, first of all, let me just get out in front of this, who we know is not long for college football? Kirby Smart ain't going to be coaching 10 more years, y'all. We know that.
The ceiling I'm putting it at is 4, guys.
He ain't going to be coaching 10 more years, y'all. Like, just, you need to get there.
Prepare
okay?
yourself.
This is a new world.
Yep.
It's a new era. We've talked about it. We'll talk about it more. But Kirby Smart's not long for college football. Is it better long-term for the University of Georgia?
Okay.
You put the ceiling at 4 years.
I did.
I was going to give you 5.
Yeah.
Is it better long-term for Georgia if Kirby Smart, instead of coaching the next 5 years and then retiring,
okay,
which we anticipate he will do, would it be better if he only coached 2 more years and then retired, but Glenn Schumann was retained as the new head coach at Georgia? Smooth transition, seamless in terms of integration of the personnel, in terms of player retention, in terms of all the things that you would want in a coaching transition, a coach in waiting situation. Sure. With Glenn Schumann retained, taking on the role of head coach, but only you getting 2 more years of Kirby Smart, or the 5 years and then the inevitable retirement.
It's interesting that you say this. I had a thought. I have a spicy take on this.
Here we go.
I do. I have a very spicy take. I believe
you want Kirby Smart to retire today. you think you hate him. Get him out of town.
Well, if he would actually get things under control at UGA, Daniel,
listen, he didn't know how to get a quarterback. He didn't know how to get the right quarterback.
Nobody.
Dylan Raiola left. I don't know if you remember that, Clint.
Justin Fields fumbled that whole situation.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Here's my spicy take. And I believe this spicy take I'm about to say to you, I believe has 40% validity to it. Okay. So I'm giving you a 40% crystal ball.
Just like a spicy take should. Yeah.
I think Glenn Schumann has already been told by Kirby Smart and staff that if you stay here, you will be the next coach of UGA. Here's why. Let me fill you in.
Okay.
Glenn Schumann.
I'm sorry. Let me Let me look. I'm going to start.
Go ahead. Find the foil. Find the tin foil.
The microphone because there's going to be a lot of crumpling sounds.
You tell me this doesn't make sense, Daniel. Kirby Smart has already let it be known to some people inside the organization that he is not long for college football. It's a different era. The NFL is going to come calling, and he's going to take it, and he's going to do just fine. Okay. Shorter season, shorter work hours, literal time you cannot contact anybody, and the NFL don't play with that. It's a better gig for a human to be in the NFL. Work balance. Okay.
What do you think Todd Monk is doing right now? Like, Todd Monk is kicking up his feet playing golf right now. Like, that's what he's doing.
Okay. Glenn Schumann could have had a job last year as head coach, leaving UGA. He didn't. This next year, there's not going to be a lot of profitable head coaching positions that come up in the SEC, which I think what Glenn Schumann wants. Now, I said profitable. Yeah.
Well, you also said in the SEC, because I think that there could be a USC job come calling at some point.
Yep.
With Lincoln Riley. Like, I think there are some big jobs.
But if you look at the biggest jobs that Glenn Schumann should be credited for in there, and if you look at Kirby Smart, how he progressed at Alabama coming back to Georgia, the years he put there and the years that Glenn has put in since Dan Lanning has left, to me, it matches up. And I think that if Glenn stays on UGA's staff in 4 years, he is the heir apparent to Kirby Smart. No brainer. Already locked in, knows the system. It is the best, biggest, simplest handoff in the entire world. And we see a situation in which Nick Saban, Alabama, you can say you like Kalen DeBoer all you want. I think he's a fine coach. I don't think long-term it's going to be great for Alabama. We've made no bones about that. This would set Georgia up for the best. Georgia likes keeping things in-house. It fits the timeline. It fits the narrative. It fits who Kirby Smart is, and it fits what he wants to do, because I'm here to tell you guys, the reason that we know he's not long is because other people know he's not long. And Glenn, think about Glenn. What's the better situation? Like, tell me a situation that's better than that. The only thing you don't want to do is follow Kirby Smart's shadow. But Kirby's not going to be Nick Saban for just gobs upon gobs of time. It's going to be 10 years as head coach, not 15, not 18. And it's going to be a good little transition. That's my spicy take, Daniel. So I think best term, I think it's already there. Now, if I didn't think this was my
let's say you're 60% incorrect on that, which is what you estimate.
I'm estimating.
Would you sacrifice a couple years of Kirby to keep Glenn versus have Glenn go take another head coaching job? It's going to be much more difficult to get him back. At that point, you don't have the seamless transition, and now we've got kind of an open coaching search going across the country.
I think in that situation, I'm still taking the best college football coach for 5 more years. I know it may sting in the short term, but give me the best coach for the most amount of time. So even if it's 5 years and then he's gone and he doesn't, fine, so be it.
Take your chances after that.
Yes.
I don't hate it. Clint's got a burning question for me that we will get to momentarily, but first these.
And these are, in fact, Monarch money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app, complete financial command center. Track all accounts, investments, spending in one place. Not just managing your money. You start building wealth. I use it. I love it. It has categories that I can go through, and I can actually pinpoint the categories that I have. I can see what's coming in, what's going out, and it gives me a report at the end of the month how much I am positive in the black or negative in the red. And it's easy to collaborate with anybody in your household. Take control of your finances, Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Daniel, this is going to be a fairly simple question, and I ask this because the question is going to be simple, but the ramifications of the coming changing landscape will not be. So college football, one of the things that we love about college football, pageantry, tradition, long-standing rivalries, like those are the things that college has above, say, the NFL. The NFL doesn't have any of that. There's rumors they're going to go to just straight seeding, no divisions. So NFC West, NFC East, like those are gone. College football has what appears to be a looming decision over giant conference, super conferences coming in, Big Ten, SEC, kind of running the show, ACC trying to get in the action, other schools saying, hey, we want part of this apple as well. So with that, Georgia's rivalries are taking a little hit, Daniel. It's no longer, I mean, if you grew up with clean old-fashioned hate or the Deep South oldest rivalry, like these things within college football seem to be on the chopping block. And if you don't see that coming as well, let me encourage you, that may be coming. Okay. Yeah. So Daniel, I ask you this, right now, today, based upon Kirby Smart tenure, not looking at the long historical route. Okay. Not looking on what Wikipedia says has the most games in. Okay.
Sure.
And maybe let me just put it this way. If you were to only buy tickets to one game this year, and you don't have to purchase them, I will purchase them for you. So money is not an option. Okay. Right. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, Bill. I'm going to say, great. Okay. What game do you need to see Georgia play against this team that maybe you would keep buying every single year, knowing now the conference we have in the SEC and what's going on? If I'm going to place purchase power for one game, which game are you going to? And the question, that's the straightforward, but the implication is, isn't that Georgia's now biggest rival?
Yeah. So I think I changed my answer for this question 3 different times during the course of you asking it. First of all, could I get someone else to purchase the tickets for me so that I'm not sitting so high in the nosebleed section? Because maybe John Tweet Sports, if he's out there, like maybe he could buy the tickets for me. Like he seems to be fairly successful. You can't hide money. M-Dubs, maybe he could buy me some tickets. I like this question, and I think it is interesting because if you're an audio listener, if you're a YouTube viewer, you already know this. And so don't try to insult me by saying something that I already know. But if you're an audio listener, I will just advise you. I am old. Like I'm an old person. I'm an elderly person. Okay. I am, and so I've been around Georgia football for a while. It's not my first rodeo. I'm not a newcomer to the pro. I grew up on it. I went to games as a young child, and I am very, very far from a young child right now. And so not nobody, but there are a few people in this world, I think, that have a deeper appreciation for the rivalries that are Georgia more so than me. Georgia Tech, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, these traditional rivalries that have meant everything to college football, and I think continue to be a really important part of college football. And I honestly think the biggest problem with conference realignment is that we have lost those games. Started with Texas, Oklahoma, and just Texas A&M, I should say, not Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and the travesty that it was that we went all those years without getting that game. And you're getting more and more schools that are losing these traditional matchups, and I would truly hate it for Georgia. I would hate it if we end up going multiple seasons, say, without playing Tennessee, multiple seasons without playing Auburn, multiple seasons without playing Florida. But the deeper we get into this thing, the more I find myself just give me the good teams. Like I get, as much as I love Georgia, Florida, and I love the experience of going to Jacksonville, and I love all of that. And I do get absolute. I mean, I get fired up for every game. You know me. Like I get fired up for every watch an overreaction show after a game. And I get fired up for every game. I find myself more and more thinking, yeah, but I mean, this is a rivalry game. Florida's a rivalry game, but the team's just not any good. Florida's not any good. Like they're just Auburn, not any good. Bad
Not good.
team. Now, did Auburn give us a little bit of a scare? Like, yeah, sure they did. Like they can do that, but just a bad team. But I want to play good teams. Now, if there's a rivalry component to that, it makes it even more significant, even more pronounced. And so I don't think you lose those rivalries. But to me, Clint, the best of both of those worlds this year is really obvious. Alabama's coming to Sanford Stadium.
Yep.
Like Alabama, the team that Georgia's had more epic matchups against in the last 10 years, the team that's broken Georgia's heart, the team that Georgia beat to win their first national championship in 40 years,
Yep.
the team that took Georgia to the woodshed last year in Tuscaloosa and then hung on for dear life when we almost came back and won that game and Alabama almost pissed it down their leg.
It was wild.
Alabama's going to be a top 10 team.
Yep.
Again, they're a really talented, really good football team. Georgia's going to be a top 10 team. It's going to be in Athens. It's going to have everything that you want. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be that Kirk Herbstreit game. You know it is.
You know it is.
Give me that game, Clint. I want the rivalry, and we have that in Alabama. But I want the two really good teams matching up. And again, Tennessee's a good team. And Florida and Auburn, I think, are both improving.
They're going to be better. Yep.
And Georgia Tech is improving. So all of Georgia's rivals are on the come up, at least temporarily. But it's still the Alabama game for me. And you could keep Texas. I don't know. Like, let Texas beat us one time in one thing, and then maybe I'll call it a rivalry.
This is the interesting thing to me. You're not wrong. The only game I'm concerned with, if somebody's going to say you have blank check, I'll buy your tickets. I'm choosing Alabama game. And you can tell me, yes, every single year there is some, like, again, the Georgia Tech game last year. Holy geez, that got off the rails and it was entertaining. And my heart stopped 20 times and it was awful. Yeah. And you could say, well, this is what rivalry does. Brent Key is out there crying into the neck crux of Kirby Smart as he is, which, like, I both simultaneously respect him for and pity him for at the same time. Man. Okay. It's wild. So you can say it just means more. Yeah, you're right. Those games do. But again, Kirby's hated Florida for a lot of years. He drove them into being irrelevant. I can't.
Irrelevant. No, we're good. We host a podcast. We get paid to talk.
We speak to talk. We get paid to talk. It is wild to me that Alabama's the choice now, Daniel. And it's the clear one. And people need to just come to terms with, yes, Auburn, I get voodoo every single time. Jordan-Hare Stadium. Yep, 100%. I do. But that doesn't mean I want to watch that game or find it more exciting. It's just a little new wrinkle as opposed to other games. It's kind of like the part of your house that you haven't fixed in forever, and so you have to actually, like, the lock. It's like, well, you got to jiggle the lock a little.
You have to lift that door up, and then it'll open. You lift, and you're like, and then pull.
Yeah, right. And so we're like,
you don't have that kind of house, by the way. You need to be buying my ticket to this game. You understand what I'm trying to say?
This is what we're trying to say.
Send us a message. You're the one we need. Okay.
So you could tell me, well, they're interesting little tidbits in the game, but they're not good games. The Alabama game is going to be off the freaking hook. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to come back after this, and Daniel's going to ask me a humdinger of a question. But first, we're going to get here.
All right.
Third segment.
We're back. It's the third segment. Thanks for being here. Again, if you've got burning questions this offseason, reach out to us. You're part of the 199 because you're hearing me say this right now. So you're here in the third segment. So if you've got a burning question that is plaguing you, keeping you up at night, that you need an answer to, this is really, we're here for you. This is the public service to you. We want to answer your questions. We want to have you be able to sleep easily at night, knowing everything that we know, which is basically everything that there is to know. And so I'll jump in with my question. Will the Braves, no, sorry, that was not it. That was not it.
I can't.
But we are allowed to say Braves now, right? We've come back at least enough that we're at least able to say the name.
When we're happy about being 500,
yep.
I'm just asking you, that's an indictment on what we've been beaten down to appreciate when 500 is now exciting. That's bad.
To be fair, according to the national media, Georgia should be happy to go 500 this year because they're just not very good. We don't have any talent. We're useless.
We chronicled all of it. Again, there's more talent on Florida's roster. Okay.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, just look at nothing, and it'll tell you that. Absolutely nothing. All right, here's my last burning question to you, and it is a quarterback related question. Okay. It is not necessarily a 2025 quarterback related question.
Interesting.
But it is a big picture quarterback related question at Georgia.
Great.
And I can't think of exactly how I want to ask it. And so this is the way that I'm going to choose.
Okay.
I would like you to tell me the opening day starter at quarterback for Georgia in the years 2025, 2026, and 2027.
This is the
humdinger.
That look, y'all. I asked him to give it to me, and the man brought it. Here, I think for me, this is actually going to be, and this is my actual prediction. This is not me wishing this. This is what I think.
Exactly. Thank you for reinforcing that long-standing position of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
Because actually what I think is going to happen is not what I personally would like to see. And it's going to shock me because it's
well, there's going to be a follow-up question then.
There's an invert to what I think most people. I truly think this 2025 Gunnar Stockton is the starting quarterback.
There's an easy one there. Okay, good.
Let's just
making sure. I only included it to give you enough rope to hang yourself if you decided 100%. You wanted to.
100%. 2026.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be spicy. This is what I think.
This is the most interesting year of the 3 years. To me, this is the most interesting year.
I think it's Jared Curtis is 2026 starter, Daniel. And that is not what I would choose because I like consistency in my quarterback. I like guys who go through the system. I like being in the program I truly think he is going to.
You think an 18-year-old child is going to walk on to UGA's campus and say, "I'll take the starting quarterback job, thank you," and all other participants may seek employment elsewhere?
I think he's going to push every other guy out of the quarterback room. Yes, I really do. I think Gunnar Stockton is going to see writing on the wall. I think he's going to have a good year. The national media not understanding Gunnar Stockton is going to have a good year is ludicrous to me. He's going to have a good year.
Yes, this is my follow-up. Then where is Gunnar Stockton in 2026? If it's not the starting quarterback at Georgia, is it the NFL?
Gunnar Stockton, I believe, goes draft eligible. For the longest time, this whole recruiting cycle, this whole last week opened my eyes to a few things. Daniel, the rumors coming out about Jared Curtis's NIL, how the NIL has worked so far, what's going to be coming next in NIL. Kirby Smart even saying, I don't like it when a freshman comes in and is making more than a senior. We want to pay these guys, but we want to know clarity on some things. I think what he is telling us in that's what he desires. Okay. Mm-hmm. But it's not what's actually happening. He would have it that way, but it's not. He can't force that to happen. And so what he's forced to do is give freshmen more money than seniors. He hates it. He wants it to change. Part of why he's not long for the job. But it is what you have to do. I think that messes with people. I think Gunnar Stockton's going to have a good enough year. And I think the conversation post season is going to be, Gunnar, you had a great year. We have NIL that's due. We think you could strike while the iron's hot. Here's your draft grades. I think you can make a first-round draft pick. For the love of all that gets out, the kid who is throwing wobbly woos in the scout goes ahead of Milroe, goes ahead of everybody else. He's one of the top 3 quarterbacks taken, just can't even perform from Louisville, whatever that is. Just it's embarrassment. Gunnar Stockton is better than he. I think he can go ahead and get some money. I think he's going to want to do so. I don't think he comes back because of NIL. And I think Jared Curtis just runs people out. So, yeah, he's in the draft, Daniel.
I don't think it's funny that you're predicting Gunnar Stockton in the draft in 2026, although I don't necessarily agree with that. It just hit me mid-sentence that you said wobbly woos.
Wobbly woos,
yes. I just couldn't get past it. There was not a lot there. So 2027, I presume you go Jared Curtis as well. You didn't finish,
Jared
but
Curtis.
It's kind of a foregone
it's a foregone conclusion.
Unless it's a Justin Fields situation, then he's 1 year and then he transfers out. Maybe we lose him. If Jared Curtis is the starter day 1 of 2026 as a true freshman, which is insane, given that Ryan Puglisi and Gunnar Stockton will both have eligibility remaining. If Jared Curtis comes in and wins the starting job that spring and fall camp, I don't think Gunnar Stockton is going to be in the NFL. I think it will be after spring practice, Gunnar Stockton transfers to somewhere else, because there will be a conversation that will be had, or there won't even be a conversation that will be had. It will just, the handwriting will be on the wall, and he will transfer to another school. Now, that is not my prediction. I say that it is Gunnar Stockton 2025, Gunnar Stockton 2026, and Jared Curtis 2027, and we never get to see Ryan Puglisi in a Georgia uniform starting at quarterback, which means, Clint, that because of both of those predictions that we've just made to end this show, Ryan Puglisi will inevitably be the starter in 2026, 2027, 2028, and then will be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft.
Yo, I went with
it's inevitable.
Tell me the last quarterback situation that you thought we had on lockdown that went the way that you thought it was. I remember being in Indianapolis after our first national championship, looking at you and being like, well, where's Stetson going next year? Because it was a foregone conclusion in my mind.
It ain't Georgia. And then during the publicity circuit, after winning the national championship, during interviews, Kirby Smart publicly said, no jobs are guaranteed. We don't know what's going to happen at quarterback moving forward. And like he threw Stetson under the bus, like after that game, after the first national championship. Yeah, you, me, the Smith boys were all sitting around saying, like, there's no way Stetson Bennett. I mean, there's no way Jacob Eason doesn't lead Georgia to the promised land. There's no way that it doesn't work out that way. Like, there hasn't been a quarterback situation that's gone. There's no way Carson Beck isn't the next great Georgia quarterback. Did you see how good he played the year before last? Now, coming into last year, there's no way he's not going to just kick it up a notch and be even better. Yeah, it's the quarterback room at Georgia, so you never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
He is Clint. I am Daniel. This has been the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day, and we will be back tomorrow with more Georgia content, and we'll see you guys then.